if everybody on the planet that said, you know what, we don't like Apple anymore, it wouldn't be hard to get the message out, and they said, everybody cancel service. Listen, college kid, 10 years ago, started campaigning against AT&T because they screwed him on his cell bill, and he was going to shut down AT&T's network. Got the federal government involved, and they came in the whole deal, and it showed you that somebody with the right message can activate people.
Well, the problem is you couldn't bring down Apple like that at all, because the whole reason behind Apple's success is brand loyalty. That's why they overcharge.
Yeah, well, the whole point is, if enough people said, okay, we're not going to shop. Okay, I'll give you another example. Shell oil. Okay, how hard would it be to say, everybody don't buy Shell oil this month. Just get your gas somewhere else. Just don't get. Let's just show Shell oil by communicating with each other that if Shell oil doesn't agree to think a little bit more about what we want, this million people that are connected on this community are not going to shop at you no matter what. And then Shell oil, what do you think they do? Shell oil pays attention. Now, you may not meet your demands, but let's say somebody had a radical vision and got enough people to say that they want to be president, and just enough people were mad enough to show up at the polls and vote and elect somebody that had no credentials or no qualifications to be president. That would never happen. Never. So anyway, so what I want to tell you guys, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. So tell me about your student. Go ahead. What's your name?
Kate.
All right. What are you doing? What's your deal?
I am a computer science student, and I'm just generally interested in sustainability. So I've been coming to
Why are you a computer science student?
Because I find computers fascinating, and I would like to create programs to help people.
Right. Something I'm going to tell you, something I'm going to show you in a little while. I'll be really excited to give you. So.
Okay.
What's your name?
Annalise.
Annalise. What's your name?
Computer science student.
All right. So we got, and you didn't tell me what's your name and what's your deal?
Emily. I just graduated from Mississippi State actually in December. So.
And you just came to Huntsville for this meeting?
Well, I'm born and raised here, but I graduated with environmental economics and business management, and I'm doing an internship with Nexus Energy Center.
So I was the co-founder of Nexus.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So yeah, we about a decade ago. So my name. Did I ask you right? No, I got you. I'm missing you. Tell me your name. I got you. I got both of y'all. What's your name?
My name is Ankur. I'm an Earth System Science and Physics major here.
Earth System Science as well. Okay, great. And what's your interest? Just green, whatever, you know. Are you entrepreneurial interested, save the planet interested, make money interested?
That's it.
You know, pretty like-minded.
Okay, all right. And you?
Taylor, Emily. Taylor.
Hey.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
And I just recently became sustainability coordinator here. And
Where?
UAH.
Here, UAH. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And my background, my bachelor's is in horticulture.
Okay.
And I'm studying, my master's is in resilient and sustainable communities.
Okay, related to farming or communities in general?
No, it's a holistic perspective,
Okay.
so not just agriculture.
Well, you got a big that's a big future ahead of us, man. I'll tell you what, there's only a few of them out there that are really thinking holistically and doing like everything from growing their own food to solar power. There's not many, but there's a few that are doing it really well. So,
Cool.
All right. My name is Cole Walker. I'm a civil engineer, undergrad, master's in education technology with specialization in application of computer to learn. How do you leverage technology to accelerate learning? Been an entrepreneurial pretty much a whole life, 20 or more businesses since I was in high school. Born and raised here, 15 years in Atlanta, and so I have really strong background in something where there is nothing in there. Engineering, I get that foundation, and really need to understand how you find something that says, well, and I've always, one of the best quotes I've ever heard was, if you want to make something, you want to be good at selling something, find somebody that's in pain. Find the pain. Find where there's pain, and the speed of change happens. The speed of pain is the speed of change. Having a cool product that people may like is a lot harder to sell than having one that, guys, dying of thirst and you got a jug of water. Like, hey, it's not gonna be hard to sell, is it? You know, so. But what I'd like to do today is give you guys, and I'm gonna take a poll because I got an hour with you, and I wanna make sure that you guys, when you leave, you're like, man, I'm so glad I went. I'm so glad. I don't want to stand there like, blah, 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 you know, what I think. And so, what I want to frame up for you is I kind of think the past, the present, and the future, right? I like the big picture to start with. You guys are young enough. I mean, you're not quite old enough to associate with some of this, but you'll understand it. It's not that old. I mean, this is all stuff that happened in my lifetime since I was 10 years old. So you know, I'm 50, and then I'd like to take that and talk to you about what's going on today in the energy market. What are like the 3 or 4 big fundamental things that are causing everything else is simply an echo of that, right? No matter what you point to, it can dial back to these 3 or 4 macro things. Maybe not everything, but most of it, right? And you ought to be able to remember them. So my goal is when you leave today, tomorrow, the next day, you don't go like, what was it he said? It's like, no, I remember exactly what he said. I know exactly what he said, right? And then, from the pain, I'm going to pivot and focus on 10 areas of innovation that are solving that pain in a variety of ways and tell you about companies that are doing it and what they're doing and why it's cool. That cool? Anybody got another thing like this? All right. So everybody knows the way, you know, you may or may not know, but who knows what Moore's Law is? Moore's Law? All right, if you're in the computer world, you know, Moore's Law is basically, years ago, computers would get twice as fast, not computers, but the processing chips, right? Would get twice as fast and be half the cost about every 18 months. And that's why we can, you know, when I was born, a computer to do this would fill this entire wing of this building in 1965, you know? In fact, that's how we went to the moon, was a computer that big in buildings not too far from here. But because of Moore's Law, and remind me to come back to the connection to the Huntsville and Silicon Valley, and that we actually are the reason that Silicon Valley actually exists today, the city of Huntsville and the space program. I'll come back to that. And so Moore's Law basically meant that you could get faster, right? And so that meant that the number of people that could afford computers would just go like gangbusters. But you had to have the killer app. Who knows what the killer app is? It's the thing that everybody has to have. It's the thing that causes something to just take off like crazy. Well, in the instance of the computer, the killer app was the spreadsheet. The spreadsheet, which is now part of Microsoft Office, was originally a little program called VisiCalc. Some guy made it because he was trying to do like math, and he said, I think I'll make a spreadsheet. And he came up with the idea of VisiCalc, and then VisiCalc ultimately became Lotus 1-2-3, IBM's program, and then it became Microsoft's program. But that was what caused because in the beginning it's like, hey, you can have a computer. What for? What else, you know, hey, you know, you can get a tractor, a combine really cheap these days. You should get one. Why would I want a combine? But with the spreadsheet, it's like, dude, I got 10 bookkeepers. I need one person computer, and all those hard records and pencils and paper and all that's gone. Man, suddenly for $8,000, I could have one person in a computer and run VisiCalc, and I could have all my data about my business like that, all my numbers. And now, when everybody started buying, I was like, well, we can make it for $4,000. And they kept getting cheaper and cheaper, and before you know it, eventually, everybody has one. But it was the killer app that kicked it down, that caused it to go over, right? In the internet, it was search. Killer app. It's a company called Webscape. I can't remember anymore. Netscape, yeah. A guy at Champaign, Illinois, college guy, just about y'all's age. And he had a little program he wrote called Mosaic to search the web. I was in grad school at Georgia State in 1994 when the first World Wide Web page came up. All right, so now why did the internet take off? All right, there's another law called Metcalfe's law. Who knows what Metcalfe is? All right, so there's this guy. He's alive today. He's 50, 60 years old, and he said that the power of, you know what? What is this worth? How much does this cost? $500, $600? Is that what it's worth?
No.
Why is it so valuable? Why is this so valuable? No,
It
no.
connects to everything.
Because everybody has one. The value of it has got nothing to do with this. The value has to do with the exponential network that I'm now connected to. Metcalf said, the value of the network grows exponentially with every new node. All right. So imagine this. So when you take cheap processing coming down and networks being established, then suddenly, and cheap phone lines. I mean, when I was in college, Ma Bell used to own all the phone lines. Yet everything was centralized. You had one phone company. Every phone was owned by them. It's a matter on your wall. You just got on the phone and talked to them. And when I was a freshman in college, you could buy a long distance phone card. And that other companies now allowed to sell on the lines of AT&T. And they broke up Ma Bell. But this network just took off. They couldn't control it. So what you saw happen was an exponential growth, and all it took was the right combination of cost reduction and the wow idea and something everybody wanted, and it wasn't like a bunch of people knocking on doors. It just, it's like websites. Once that whole thing started going, it just kind of, it took off. So when you lay that on top of each other, what that creates now for you is a kind of an understanding of this idea of how do we go from highly centralized to highly decentralized. And in this instance, it became cheap to do the ones and zeros and process ones and zeros. It became cheap for me to connect to everybody else. And now, like, the minutes are free, this ought to blow your mind. 40 years ago, there were 40 computers on the internet. When I was 10 years old, there were 40 of them, and there they are, right there. And those are all universities, and maybe a few government facilities. But 40 computers. And that was the internet. And that was when I was 10 years old. And when I was 1994, when I was 20, there was one web page. When I was your age, there was one web page.
So what was the internet used for? Excuse me.
Okay, so there was a sidebar. There was a thing called ARPANET, DARPANET, and it was researchers who at universities that needed to be able to share information with each other, and they would send it in packets to each other.
Okay.
And that's where it started. And initially, the guy in Champaign, Illinois, grad student, said, wouldn't it be neat if I could make this interface, because it was all very, y'all don't even probably remember what DOS was like, but literally everything was written, when I went to my first year of engineering, we were using punch cards. I did my first Fortran program with a punch card. Yeah, I'm not that old. I mean, 50 may seem old, but let me tell you, it'll get there quick. So, and so basically, he just said his idea was, and this is a bit of a sidebar, was let's make it easy to get to the information. So he came up with a user interface that's cool and made it easy, and that became Netscape, which was the big first internet company that ultimately went to Microsoft eventually, but that's a whole other hour-long conversation about that. But the thing is we've seen it going before, right? So everything is centralized, controlled by the few, to highly decentralized, controlled by the many. The power is with the many, right? So you saw it with computing. We used to have mainframes. In 1965, there was, these were big mainframes. The internet was 40 mainframe computers, and that was where it was. Then through all these changes we've described, it became massive, and now the computing world is decentralized. Communications. I'm a freshman in college, and there's one phone company, and they own all the phones. And this is like, what? I remember that. I can't believe that even was real. It's like, I can't believe that. And so now, and the phone was mounted on the wall, and it's just like crazy talk, And so now everybody has a phone. They're connected everywhere. It's cheap. It was like 25 cents a minute, or $1.15 a minute for long distance. And I'm up at Vanderbilt this time. I got a little card. I'm on the hallway phone dialing. Like, I can talk for 4 minutes. It's like I got $5. You know, I mean, it's crazy. It was just, but that's the kind of things that will happen so fast. You'll blink, and you guys, you'll be, 5 or 10 years from now, you'll be like, I can't believe that's all we were doing back then. You'll be like, whoa, So what that sets the stage for is, let's see, right now, in every socket in this wall, every light up there, that energy is going back out to some highly centralized plant, managed by the few. Who's got an idea what's about to happen? I know you do. What's about to happen is it's going to make the iPad, iPhone, all this stuff look like nothing happened. Because this is how the world works. Water is life, energy is quality of life, communications is an adder to that. So, and listen, the water situation is going to be that's going to be the big kahuna. I mean, this bottle of water is more expensive than gas. So, I mean, that's crazy talk. The first bottle company that sold bottled water was Evian. Spelled backwards is naive.
That was the first one?
Yeah. Evian. First guys to come out, they had these bottles like $1.25 a bottle. Like, who would pay that for water? I don't know that I drink water that doesn't come from a bottle now anyway, unless I have that at the office, But you're just going to be amazed at how fast things go, So what's about to happen in energy? Energy is going to go from centralized to decentralized. Well, how is that going to happen? How? I can't afford a coal plant. Well, all kinds of really smart and cool people are working on all kinds of widgets and gadgets and all kinds of things to produce energy, reduce what I consume, be more to store energy, to move it around. So in the vernacular of what we just talked about, this piece of technology, it produces data, it stores data, it communicates data, it knows when to break it up, push it out, pull it in, be smart and run. So what's about to happen, guys, is every building on the planet will be as smart on the energy net as this phone is on the internet. So every building's going to be an iPhone. Does that make sense? You might not get that. It's coming. And what does that mean? Holy crap, it means a lot. Because you look around and this building ain't anything like an iPhone. This ain't even a flip phone. I mean, this is the phone mounted on the wall. This is the phone still mounted on the wall.
Yeah.
Okay? And why? Okay, so how fast is that going to happen? It's what's the thing that's going to drive it? What's the thing that's going to make it all work? So I'm going to just kind of transition, I think, to talk a little bit about what's the pain that's making it. So right now, how many of you are bothered by the cost of electricity? I mean, like, oh, it hurts me. None of you right now. But everybody that's running a building like this, or the facilities guys, how much do you think about energy consumption?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day, all day.
All day.
And how
That's
much
one of our main focuses.
Yeah, and how much of your brain, the best part of your brain is devoted to how to make sure we don't run that machine at the same time as that. It's like a chess match of energy, because just like I paid $1.25 to get on that phone in the hall at Vanderbilt on my card, I was thinking, okay, I gotta have my notes down so when I call home I gotta get all this stuff in 5 minutes. I was thinking about it. How am I going to use my data? My minutes. Well, what's going on right now? And the best way to explain it is this. So every day your use of energy, I'm going to do a 24-hour cycle, right? So every day your use of energy goes up, and it's kind of like this, right? Things turn it off and on, and so it maybe, let's say it does this sometimes because you don't think about it. That's when you come home, you walk in from school or whatever, you throw the air conditioner on, you open the fridge, you turn the TV on, like all it's like everything's going to come right up within 5 or 7 minutes. It's all on, right? That little thing goes out, and the energy is inelastic, right? You got to use it as it's made. There's no, right now, this room is burning energy that is being made, like at this instance, by a coal plant, probably over in Colbert County or something. Now, if everybody in this building all decided to run the AC and do all this at one time, what happens in Colbert? What happens over at the coal plant? Throw the juice on, get the ball, gotta get more, we got more juice. Total lack of predictability. no idea what the coal plant in Colbert County or the nuclear plant, wherever, they have no idea what everybody's going to do. They have no idea when these things are going to happen. So you know what they do? How many of you let your car running in the parking lot in case you need to go somewhere in the middle of this prison? Anybody? I let mine run in just in case, just in case I get the call, I need to jump in my car so I can go. So I'm going to leave it running. So right now, every coal plant, everything that produces power in America is running just in case that happens. Everybody in America's got their car running in the parking lot so in case they need to leave. Is that sensible? So do you know what can solve that problem? Communication. And that little talk I had earlier about how all this network and all this communication, all that stuff can solve a lot of problems. We don't lack the ability to produce enough power. We lack the ability to produce power when it's needed. You could literally shut down 25 to 30% of the capacity if the power plant just knew when to give you the juice. So what we do is this. We have all these spiky things. That causes a problem. So again, what has to happen on a 365-day year, if you look at this this is the graphic view, right? That's what your it's a demand profile, right? That spike is that spike, all the little baby spikes. So for less than 3 to 5% of the year do you actually need that, but they run that equipment with that capacity, again, the whole time. All right, so that's a huge problem. We're going to get to how you fix it in just a minute. That's a problem, that's a problem. All right? Now, the other problem that we have are outages. They're not tremendous, but they are a fair amount. The company, I think it's, check my stat, I think it's $165 billion a year is lost in productivity to outages. 80% of the outages are less than 15 minutes. All right? So if you had some really cool way to maybe capture some energy and put it in a box like this at your building or next to your Tesla, and you could have it there, and it was the right size, that 80% of the outages, that 80% of $160 billion would not be lost because because somebody had been in a magic black box that could hold that energy and use it later. Anybody ever heard of one of those? And anybody have an idea of why we're so good at making little things that hold energy for a long, long time? Where all that innovation and technology came from that's in the Tesla, that's in that storage capability. And so solving outages, and the other outages are 15 of the 100%, 80% of outages are short. 15% are up to 4 hours, and only 5% are 4 hours or greater. So if you simply had the ability to store energy for up to 4 hours, you could knock out 95%, of the issues that I just described. Well, I'll give you a great example. So, what if a building's running and it needs to be run for 3 or 4 hours, but its battery is only good for 1 or 2? What do? You turn off some stuff. The arsenal requires 36 megawatts to run daily. However, after the tornadoes, they realized that we actually have 6 megawatts of absolutes. The rest of the stuff, do we need the gym air conditioner on, in an emergency? No. Do we need the lights at the golf course on? No. And what they figured out was, here's my core. This is my core of what I gotta have. And now, if there was only a way to communicate, DEFCON levels 1 through 7, if there's an issue, DEFCON levels 1 through 3 you can have. Level 4 you can have. You can never have 7. You can have 6 if it's real dire, maybe 5. And if you'll pay me, I'll give you 5. Colbert County, you give me $20,000, I'll shut down number 5. That's a production line, and that cost me $9,000. You pay me $15,000 to shut down that, and Colbert County says that's great because it's going to save me $80,000. Giving you $15,000 is a no-brainer. All right. So Now there are other issues, right? But those are three big ones. Does anybody not get that? Anybody have a that is like not clear? Will you remember this? Will you remember this? Will you remember it? You remember it? I want y'all to remember it because it helps frame stuff, right?
So it's communication outages, and what's the third thing?
What?
What are the three things again?
Well, so it's really peak demand, standby capacity, and outages. Peak demand is when all that stuff gets, we have no visibility into it. Standby is that because we have no visibility, we have to be waiting. And the outages are something that comes from weather, and now cyber is the big threat. Getting control of shutting down power plants. Some kid in the garage in Russia shuts down a TVA nuclear reactor, and the next thing you know, it's Chernobyl in the U.S. Right? You had a question.
So you gave this image of like we all decided to turn on the air conditioners and what's going on back in Colbert County. That's not technically true then, because Colbert County's already going like this to prepare for us.
Yeah, so what they'll do is they'll take, it's an oversimplification, they have different demand profiles for the year. So they don't run like in the middle of, in March, they know they're not gonna need all the air, they know they're not gonna need what they need in the middle of August. So they kind of scale up and down. It's
Okay.
the principle of they're running it to be ready for you. They are required by the Federal Energy Management Association to never have you flip a light switch on and have no power. That's massive task to manage, massive task. So what that kind of sets the stage, I think, and what I want to hit on in terms of what's going to drive some of these entrepreneurial opportunities or where these things are going, and sets the stage for where you might see yourself going or might find interest. So when you have to have what caused the internet to really take off was they had standards and protocols that everybody could work with. So I'm going to use two. This is probably oversimplified, but it's just easy to get, and then you can scaffold more knowledge onto this concept if you had a desire to. With the internet, when the first web page was built, it was built in HTML. Does everybody know what HTML is? It's just a hypertext markup language. It's real easy. You can associate text and it creates images. This is how we built the first websites, and before we had a lot of other ways to do it more simply. And then we had Internet Protocol, which was the way to know that your IP address was your IP address of that computer. So if I wanted to send you something, I knew it had to go to that IP address, right? So now you got a way to show the data and a way to know where to send it. And those were the two fundamental accepted protocols that basically have now led to everything that is the server farms, the data centers, that is your iPhone, that is all that. And what that went through to begin with was it first started out where everybody was, when they started buying computers, it went from mainframes, and then they said, oh, let's do some micro stations. And you go to businesses and they have one of them or two of them, and it was not connected to the internet or not connected to anything. It was a standalone little box, and then it had to be cheap, and they said, well, we should have 2 or 3 of these, and we should have 5 of them. And then the guy named Bob Metcalf says, well, man, I got this interesting car with a machine. We'll run a wire with him, and we'll build a network, a wired network, and that's where Metcalf came from. Was he invented the network card, which we don't even use anymore. Rarely you do it that way. And you'll use a network card for your local Ethernet, but in that way. And so now what you have in the world of the energy net is, and I'll use the energy net just to have an easy way to kind of capture this concept of the parallel, right? And so with the energy net, you've got what's called field messaging bus, which is it's kind of like it's the HTML. It's the field messaging bus tells equipment how to talk to each other. It can tell, it's standard protocol that if you want to connect a bunch of equipment, you can use a field messaging bus protocol to get the language right? And the other one is called ADR, which is automated demand response. And this whole idea of knowing when to shut it off or what you'll give up or won't give up is managed by automating the demand and being able to respond back to the network, right? And that is the same sort of laying out platform, and it's happening right now. And the things I'm describing, these are, like right now, if you were to go to in 1980, had you gone to the computer club of Palo Alto, it would have been in a room like this probably at the university, and there's Steve Jobs, there's Bill Gates, there's Larry Ellison, they're all like in there together in a room like this. Oh, computers are going to be everywhere, guys. Oh yeah, they're all the brethren to believe, they're all, that's where we are in this right now. I mean, the SCHIP, which is the Society for, I don't remember, something protocol, right? They're just like they're in the third meeting, and these field messaging bus guys, the titans of that industry are at those meetings right now, and they aren't titans yet. I mean, they're like Mark Zuckerberg when when he's in the dorm room still. That's how early this is right now, going where it is and where it's going to go. But what happened is in the last 24 months or 36 months, the Internet of Things just blasted onto the scene, where I've been talking about the grid, all this stuff I've been talking about the grid, right? And light bulbs and plug fixtures. The Internet of Things is everything that uses the energy. And so the Internet of Things now is enabling, you can track and collect data on all this stuff, everything from light bulbs. So, everything will have effectively ability to be communicating what's going on. Lots of just the data coming off of everything is going to be, it's phenomenal, the massive amounts of data, right? And it's because storage is cheap, processing is cheap, communication is cheap, that it's just going like gangbusters. Now the question is, how do I make sense of it? Now comes in big data. If you've been living under a rock, or you hadn't heard the word big data, and if you wake up and look around, it's everywhere. You'll see it everywhere. Everything you look at, it's all about big data. And big data is just a big global term to mean what the hell we want to do with all this, and a bunch of people with smart algorithms figuring things out, right? I mean, Amazon's got 1,000 engineers working specifically on artificial intelligence, leveraging big data and other things. So we're on the cusp of this, like just going gangbusters, and it's going to be unbelievable. And the Internet of Things part of this equation, really what's happened is you've got this. It's you've got today is IoT and the grid, right? And right now, what you'll hear a lot of people call it is the smart grid, because the grid's getting smart. All this stuff's kind of starting to communicate and do these things that we're talking about. And over there at the building, guys like Siemens and GE and all these guys that sell everything that people buy for industry have said, we can mount a device, we can mount a sensor on that air conditioner, and it can communicate with the grid. And they've enabled everything, because the biggest challenge somebody like at Toyota or in a major manufacturer or a major business space is it's my controlling the temperature of my environment so my workers are comfortable. It's giving them enough lighting in that facility so that they can work properly. And then if I have manufacturing lines, that's a big power. But if I'm not a manufacturer, I'm today. We're seeing this right now. And they're merging together. All that is creating all this massive amount of data, because you got so much data coming from the smart grid, so much data coming from the Internet of Things, and it's merging together right in the middle of that, and it's opening up tremendous opportunities for things that didn't even exist a year ago, 2 years ago. So basically, there's how many, I don't know how many apps there are for the iPhone, but it's like millions. Who knows how many apps? So in 2007, I think it was the first iPhone. So 2 apps uploaded. How many apps uploaded? In 19, how many Microsoft certified engineers? Today, how many certified areas that I think are really, that I can tell you that these are areas of innovation or companies that are doing things that are, it's probably the last 24 months. I'll give you names of companies doing it, and then I'll come to where I think it's going to probably go, and then we can talk, and you guys can just talk about whatever you're interested in talking about. So all of this in the building, who has an idea of what the first step is for this building if you wanted to try to solve some of these problems? What would you do first?
Audit the building,
Audit. How would you do it?
measure usage,
How?
I don't know, tools. Square
Okay.
footage.
Blower door, check ductwork, square footage, AC units.
But how would you collect the data? How would you do it? Yellow tablet, maybe. Yeah, yellow tablet probably. Walk around with a yellow legal pad, and if you're smart, if you're really advanced, you'll take a picture with your iPhone so that you can, picture anyone. You'll when you get back home and you're trying to integrate it all into this report because you're going to bring me the report and show me what happened. You're going to try to marry all this kind of disparate data from walking around. Was that light fixture in that room or was that in that? Was there 8 fixtures or 20? Was that a recessed can? So auditing the building, and lights is just one part, but it's equipment and all these other things. So probably I would imagine that of the building stock in America, less than 1% has been audited. Because up until now, power's been cheap. I mean, still relatively cheap. The thought that I can light this room for whatever, 20 cents for an hour, and all the things that had to happen so that for 20 cents I could light this room and have this meeting for an hour. It cost me 20 cents to pay for the lighting and $1.50 for the air conditioning. It's a pretty amazing thing that you can do that for that, right? So, and no one's ever had to think about it unless you're a Toyota or somebody else. And there's a few corporations that, and now it's the common thing. The thing right now is audit. You got to figure out where you are. I mean, you're seeing that take off, but it's just. 24 months ago, it was like, yeah, we'll do an audit. It was all manual, and so now, I'll give you an example. There's a couple of companies, but one is a company called SnapCount. SnapCount, basically, you walk through the building. It uses geolocate sensors, and then you basically between using, taking your data and banging it against these big databases. When you finish with your deal, you're walking out of the building, and your proposal is already done. And you've collected all the equipment. You take a picture of your RF tagged equipment, or your QR rather, and you walk out the door. And that's a massive opportunity that 99% of the people doing audits are walking around with a yellow tablet. They just don't know how to. They just don't know. Now, because if you're out there doing it this way every day, you like to try some new things, and maybe the enlightenment will try. But massive amount of, because everything starts with the data on the front end. You don't garbage in, garbage out. If you don't get good data, you can't start to move toward the efficiency measure if you don't, know what you're dealing with. So, and there's another program called SemiWatt, and it's out of NREL, the National Renewable Energy Lab, and it's actually cataloged 95% of all the equipment that exists, all the manufacturers, the big guys, right? I mean, believe it or not, there's probably 6 to 8 companies that control all the heating and air conditioning in 90% of the buildings. It's kind of like Apple, if you think about who controls cellular signals, it's 5 to 8, then you got some outliers, right? So, in this one also, I was just demonstrating a piece of technology where I can walk through a room, hold my phone up or put something on my back, and it will build a 3-dimensional model that I can import into AutoCAD or a similar program, and then it will also pick up where stuff is. And I can literally walk a 50,000-foot building, and 4 hours later have a 3-dimensional image of every energy asset in that building, what it costs to replace it, and how much energy it's using once I download the power bill. Very cool.
With a sonar.
It's like a pat sonar. One of them is. And so what you're going to see is a year or two from now, the Geek Squad at Best Buy, for all the people that can't figure out how to make their computer do whatever, or their TV do whatever, or whatever. There's going to be a mint made by a bunch of people that just know how to walk through the building, collect the data, and give the people back what they don't know how to do. It's like, okay, input TV, VCR, input TV, DVD, input TV, very complicated, Walking a building, taking the picture, very complicated, So the next thing I'll talk about, and I'm gonna come back to finance, okay? The next thing is the analytics. Some of the coolest stuff I've seen in the last 24 months, and the analytics thing has really come on. I mean, this is you. If you were to go back and Google in 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you know, building analytics, energy analytics, something like that, you would get the amount of hits or inquiries would have been here. Today, it's through the charts. I mean, it's just unbelievable how much interest and innovation is circling around analytics. So, for example, and the analytics can be at the bill level. So let's start at the meter, right? So at the meter, you can take your billing data in 15-minute increments historically, and bang it against a big algorithm, and it will tell you where the outliers are, what the problems are. It will literally know where your billing is, and it's kind of like going to a doctor for a basic checkup. He can say, oh, you got a little basic problem. If you want to get deep, you need to go to a specialist. But just based on that data, you can save 10 to 20% of a building's energy cost just by taking their meter data and running it against the right analytical program. No investment, not even go on site. Yeah, you ship me your power bill, I'll ship it back to you and I'll tell you what's wrong. Just like a doctor says, ship me your medical spot, I'll look at your scan, whatever, and I'll call you and tell you what I see. Now, massive opportunity is going to be at, and there's some really kick-ass companies that are doing this, and only one is fantastic, the other is good. Most people have chosen to go to the circuit breaker, right? So, you know, in a building, everybody knows that everything kind of goes back to one metal box with a bunch of switches in it, right? Each switch controls, you know, plugs or equipment. So now what you do is you go in and you take a little C-clamp like that, you just clamp it around a wire, the outside of the switch you clamp, and it's called a current transformer. And it just reads current. Now instead of reading the one circuit on the whole building, you're looking at it down to the level of everything, all those individual circuits, and man, you can get some freaking awesome results out of that, right? It's no different than going to the doctor and he says, I think you have something wrong with your heart, okay? And going to a heart specialist who gives you a long list of what's wrong. The first guy says the building could be better. The next guy says it's these things that are doing these problems. You've got a piece of equipment that's short cycling. You've got, and literally the granular level of detail is phenomenal. So one thing that a company might do with that data, and this is a company in Silicon Valley called Vertigree. And Vertigree, they're banging that data against algorithms, and they are able to listen to the analog signal and tell you what the heck that is on the other end. They can disaggregate the data on the line and tell you, you know, what it is. Oh, that's a GE such and such. It's just like we have a fingerprint. Every piece of equipment has its got its own analog signature, a frequency signature. And so now you can have a phone and it can tell you down to, oh, plug 7 and such and such and such. And now you want to talk about figuring out how to save money and communicate. I got 1,000 things using energy, and I know exactly what they are and which ones I can turn off and on because I can communicate, and I can now know how to really do how to save money or be more efficient. The other one that's really cool is you can take that same data and you can run modeling and simulation. You can take a Google Earth image of the building. You can then take the basics of the structure, and, you know, is it brick, is it glass, is it whatever, run that same data and run 1,000,000 scenarios and then get the actual investment opportunities of what you should fix. You need to replace the lights, and here's what they cost and how you would do it and why this is what you'd say. You need to replace, here are the energy conservation measures that are going to yield the best results. These have 2-year payback, these have 4-year payback, all from banging against algorithms and big data. These guys are finding savings of 30 to 40%. This building probably has 40 or 50% savings. The whole campus, most every university in the country is 40 to 50% probably, from where they are and what they could be. Efficiency measures. This is the low-hanging fruit. Light bulbs, energy efficient air conditioners, those kind of things. There's a lot of, that's where everybody's been for the last decade. We've just seen a new wave of LEDs come alive. And the LEDs, all this stuff is driven by all the tech that we carry in our pockets, LED innovations, battery storage innovations. And so right now, we're about to see another wave of LEDs that are just phenomenally cheap and really, really good lighting. In the past, LEDs have been, they don't feel right, they're not warm. Now they've cracked it, they've figured it out. these LEDs will go 100,000 hours, they're cheaper, and they just phenomenal, and that's a huge opportunity. You'll see lots of people that all they do is go sell light fixtures to people. They knock up something, walk through the building, oh my gosh, I think you should replace all these, and they'll pay for it. And there's even companies that are innovating on the finance that say, tell you what, just take the phone, pay for the minutes, right? Take the pictures, pay for the minutes. How many buildings and universities, if you said, you mean just put them in and I just pay for what I use, and you'll make sure I got a tech refresh program, it's always gonna be the best? Yeah, just pay for the minutes. How many people wouldn't replace their lights if it was a pay by the minute, as opposed to, oh, I don't know if I wanna pay $300 for that fixture. And then I gotta, and not only do you pay for the minute, if it doesn't work, you call me. You don't have to worry about the guy down the hall, just call me and we'll have somebody out there to fix it. Major innovation around the financing of those. So the first wave of innovation around efficiency was about the equipment. The current wave is about the finance. We also have on the finance side, I'll go ahead and touch this, is that there are now programs, this is where I personally am spending most of my time now, is infrastructure as a service. Anything you want. Pay for minutes. So we're working with major municipalities and corporations who say, I don't want to put this on my books. I don't want to borrow the money. I don't want to lease it. I need to keep my books clean from this asset and debt liability. And so we say, whatever you want. You want lights, you want air conditioners, you want a cool roof. We'll put it in. You just pay by the minute. By the minute for some parts of it. Some parts it's billed differently, but the concept is no money. You just pay for what you use, because there's so much savings. You pay for what you use, and you still come out ahead. Generation and storage kind of go hand in hand. Remember we talked about the killer apple a while ago? The thing that caused computers to take off was Excel spreadsheet, because everybody had to have one. And the pain was, I got 8 bookkeepers at 30 grand a head. That's 240,000. And suddenly that pain went to a $5,000 computer and a $20,000 person. Now I solved the pain. The cost of energy, this problem I said earlier about when is the most of the time you think that energy does is peaking? What time of day is it? What is it? Is it nighttime or is it daytime? What's the big difference between day and night? Okay, what's something we can do with the sun to make energy?
Solar power.
What? Nobody wants solar power, it's too expensive.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. Right now, you can make energy yourself for half the price that you can buy it for. Does that sound familiar? I can make it cheaper than I can buy it. Why wouldn't I make my own? At least for the part of the day. Now, when I got my computer, I didn't replace everybody. It was just the bookkeeping portion of what I needed. Everybody still got my, but I was able to save money around this area. I can't save money at nighttime energy because battery technology is lagging behind. But I can produce enough energy myself, just hook it up, and now I can make energy cheaper than I can buy it, and that's the killer app. That's why you're going to see solar go from 3 or 4% to 60, 70%. You won't see, and the innovation around solar is it's not just the panels. It's just like the Moore's computer chip was not just in the computer. It went into your refrigerator. It went into everything. So right now, every service you can imagine is being exploded around the innovation. So I was with the CEO of Kodak a month ago. And Kodak's core competency is producing film. And they've figured out a way to produce solar film. Okay? So now you could roll it out and attach it to your window. You could roll it out. Now it's not market ready. Or people are figuring out ways to capture more efficiency out of this, more efficiency. And so it's the solar and now battery technology. Up until 2 years ago, it was not. You had to have a real pain. It was like, I got to have a problem. And so, for example, Toyota, if he wants to fire up 5 pieces of equipment, it's going to shoot his megawatt load up, and he's going to pay dearly for it. But with one, in fact, we actually did a design for Toyota 5 years ago. We did a 2-year analysis of their bill in 5-minute increments, I think it was, and designed a 42 megawatt system for solar and batteries and everything, so that they could they have standby capacity, I think of about 13 megawatts, I think is your load delivery, if I'm not mistaken, and you really need about 6, but that other 6 is well, you could take a 6 megawatt battery, which is today, then it was too expensive, but today a 6 megawatt field of batteries, and they could cut their rent in half by buying one battery to do that. You couldn't do that 5 years ago. It's only now that you're starting to see that there will not be a facility in the future that doesn't have a battery of some kind there, just to solve problems and smooth out the peak, and it's coming. And so solar and batteries now together are, it's Excel and Word. Oh, wow, writing letters is pretty cool too. That's helpful too. Oh, and this other thing called PowerPoint, that's really helpful too. But it was the killer app that got everybody to want. So originally you used to buy Excel, PowerPoint, you buy Excel, then it was Word, and Word was not Word, Word was AmiPro, and Word was WordPerfect, and all these little companies, and they became, rolled up, and then ultimately, you just buy Office now. You buy the suite because you need all of them. So we're gonna see the same thing. The suite is the reducing of energy with efficiency, the producing of storage with solar, and the storage with batteries. That is the Microsoft Office, suite for the growth of what we're talking about. To produce, to get into those businesses, all you really can do is be a salesman, because unless you're, in the lab inventing some new battery technology, scaling any kind of manufacturing process, very expensive, very hard. You're more likely, if you come up with a great innovation, to go find somebody that wants it, that's got a lot of money, license it to them, or sell them your innovation, or you sell them your idea. Then there's 4 more I'll hit, and then control systems and smart buildings. That's the heart of routing all this stuff around. This building does not have any smarts in it, probably, and you have to have, and this is being driven a lot by the smart home. Everybody wants to, a thermostat, a refrigerator, have everything in their house where it's like, oh, watch this. Wasn't that cool? Yeah, it's cool, but it's just cool. I mean, it does do some stuff for you, but it's not changing things. However, the technology that's getting people to think about that is, it's like the guy who said, oh, look cool, I built a web page. That's kind of cool, isn't it? I better figure out a cool way to do a web page. And the next guy goes, that's not just cool, man, that's about to change the planet, So control systems are at the heart of being able to solve these problems in a building, because it's got to get smart. And the control system is where the Internet of Things and the smart appliances and all that stuff come in, because where you're switching data around with routers and things, touching that doesn't kill you. You touch the wrong wire in your electrical panel, it'll kill you. So the router, if you will, for all of this to happen around the energy is a little more dicey than the router that you have, in your Wi-Fi router that AT&T will ship you for $30 a month or whatever it is. Last area of kind of things that are happening are microgrids. Microgrids are basically, let's go back to the computer deal. Who knows what a WAN, the WAN is and the LAN is? The wide area network and the local area network. Everybody yes? Make it a no. All right. So the wide area network is all the computers outside there. The local area network is all of them that are plugged up in your building. When we first started, you had the big stuff, the mainframes, and then you had the little stuff that weren't connected. Then they had networks in the building, the local area network, and then one day they said we should connect these together, and then you had the wide area network, local area network together, but the data was all over here in the building, and they said, well, we should park the data out in the middle, and then what happens is you have this totally hybrid system of centralized and decentralized, all working symbiotically, where it all knows what to do to bring optimization to moving that data around in the right places at the right time. And so microgrids are the local area network of energy. Right now, almost no buildings have a microgrid, very few. In the future, 100% of the buildings will have it. It's like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, if I said everybody will have a cell phone before the first one came out, no way. That's $50,000 of a phone. You kidding? Where are you gonna plug it in? Where's the cord? So in the future, every building will be intelligent like an iPhone. It will basically say, it will be able to turn off when the grid said, I don't need any power now. I got my deal. I'm running. I got a battery. I got some solar. I'm not going to need any power. I'm an island from the grid. I'm doing my thing. Oh wow, I'm making power myself for 7 cents, and the grid just sent me a signal. They're needing some power. They're going to pay me 14. Shoot, man. I think I'll sell them some of my power. Think about a data center. Some guy said, I'll put a bunch of servers in here and I'll let people park their stuff I'll sell them a place to park their stuff. I'm gonna make my own energy, park it right here. Or even better, I'll tell, hey, TVA, I tell you what I'll do. Tonight at 3 in the morning, when you don't know what to do with that 15% of the nuclear power, you're like, I gotta do something with this power. I'll let you park it in my store. I'll let you park it in my battery, in my garage. You park it there and I'll charge you 6 cents to park it there for 15 hours. You can get it back tomorrow, but you just credit the bill. So that's where it's going. And so last and final thing, and this is something that's relatively new to me, but it's really exciting. So, who knows what this is? It's Alexa. The pump. It's Echo. This is called the Dot. And what this is the way I communicate to get all that stuff done. So I want y'all to think that this is a tectonic mega shift. Mainframe started, we keyed in the data. It was keying in. And it was all like very like lines of code. And I had to be an expert in hierarchical thinking. The layers of if this, then that, this files, how all that structure went together, and that was allowed me to use my knowledge to know what to type into the keyboard. Separated me from everybody else. Then along comes a thing called the mouse and the graphical user interface. Said, oh, well, first it was just the graphical user interface, right? Before the mouse, it was, oh, that's all this file structures, man. I can't remember that. Can't I just like visually show me how to do it now? But still, I gotta understand the file folder. Oh, collect the menu, click, get the file folder, inside the file folder. I still have to know computer to do it, right? Then comes the mouse, which, this makes it so much easier. It's like I still got to understand, like click, click, click. I find my way before long, right? Then after the mouse comes, I don't have to have a mouse or a keyboard. I'm just going to touch the screen and move it around. I still have to understand, but in all those scenarios, I still have to understand hierarchical infrastructure. I mean, how it all works. My mom knows how to point and click, but the hell she can't figure out how to open an app and find a file. It's like 2 steps, right? 100% verbal. Natural language processing. How much expertise do I need to talk? None. How many people now can be involved in what's happening? If you can talk, you're in. So what happens is, Amazon's got a cloud database, pulling all this data in, 1,000 engineers working on machine learning, artificial intelligence, and they're connecting to all these different things everywhere. And I own a building. I walk in, Alexa, how are my buildings doing? Well, Cole, your buildings are doing great. Over at 1702, you look like you were short cycling last night. It looks like somebody left the light on. Would you like me to send out a signal to have somebody fix it? That'd be great. Any question you have, any technical needs you have, all this data being collected will now present to you Alexa or Google Home or whomever. Everybody's got one of these. I mean, every major player is trying to figure out how to use natural language processing with artificial intelligence and machine learning to do all that stuff we've been talking about. And this is less than a year old. Alexa, we're Apple, and if you're in computer programming, and if I was a programmer, this is where I would be spending my nights and weekends. Alexa, Amazon has these things called Amazon Skills. Apple has apps, Amazon has skills. A skill is like a baby program that does something. Turn off the lights, and you write a little skill and upload it to their app area, right? They are going all over the country giving workshops. UAH needs to call them and do their Google hackathons. They're not Google. They're Amazon. They're I can't think of what they're called. They come in, they set the whole thing up, and like they teach people how to do it. And they like, okay, you three try to figure this out. You three, they have these contests, and it's really easy to do. And 6 months ago, the first blog about it started. That's it. Now the opportunity to be able to write, and all you're doing is writing code that talks to the stuff that somebody else has already written. You're not writing the code to run the stuff. You're writing the code to connect the dot. You're writing the web page to connect the information to the people. So who would have liked to have been a web designer in 1995 when there was one web page? An expert web designer, and you knew everybody wanted a web page. I have a friend that became a multi-millionaire because he just taught himself to build web pages. And he was in Atlanta, Georgia. I hired in 1990, I don't remember, 5 or 6 on there. I had a school in Atlanta, Georgia, and I hired CNN's webmaster to run my webpage. This was a part-time grad student at Georgia Tech who was the CNN webmaster. Part-time, 15 hours a week. She's working for me, working for CNN, managing their digital assets. That room is bigger than, I mean, now the size of that. So I tell you, this is just something I would not miss out on. Every one of you should look up Google skills, how to, what's going on in it, you know, so you got, they have the, what it is they have this thing is called the Echo. It's like $50, and it allows you to program and talk to stuff, and you can build skills, or you can buy the tall one that's got a speaker. I have one of these in my kitchen. I walk in and say, hey, Google, play me some music, play me some jazz, call out a song I want to hear. What's the weather tomorrow? It's real rudimentary right now. It's like the first web page. It's like, oh, cool, look at this, click this picture, you know. But what's going on is where it's going is unbelievable. Google has one. Google has the home device. But the deal is the connecting the web pages that you build, it doesn't matter whether you're using a SQL database or a whatever database. It's all the same. You're connecting all this opportunity with natural language processing. So that's it. Anybody got anything they'd like to ask, questions?
I'd like to add a couple things if I could.
Yep.
Because we're doing a lot of this stuff.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Was it worth coming?
Yes.
Yes.
Worth it? Worth it? Worth it? Worth it? Nah, you didn't. You didn't want to come anyway, did you?
No, I do.
All right, good. I'm glad. I just want to make sure no one leaves unhappy. You might leave unhappy.
Oh, no. I just one comment about you mentioned Chernobyl in the U.S. Well, that could never happen anyway because the Chernobyl was a really
Nothing I said is to be taken exactly precisely literal. It's to be to paint a picture of understanding. If I said just go west and you'll hit the ocean, it's literal. I wouldn't expect you to literally just walk west. I'd say you go west is what I mean. So
I'm just saying that Chernobyl couldn't happen in the U.S. because the reactor was a very bad design. It's like saying that.
When did I say Chernobyl would happen?
In the U.S., yeah, when you mentioned
Cybersecurity.
Cybersecurity. Oh well, that's
I know you didn't. I know you didn't. I don't think you actually meant that. But
so are you aware that we almost lost a reactor when we lost power when the power lines went down? Nobody knows this. They were over in Colbert County. They were going crazy. So to say that a nuclear accident couldn't happen in the U.S.
I'm saying it could, just not at the scale of Chernobyl.
Yeah, well, I don't think it does. When you talk about a nuclear accident, whether it kills 1,000 people or 50,000 people, I think people still view it as a.
It's the safest energy source. It
So
kills
back to you.
fewer people than solar.
I love nuclear. I think small modular reactors are coming, and then we're going to be using
good.
them. We're gonna be
You'll
using
love
them. In 20 years, y'all will have small modular reactors. They can do them on Navy ships for 50 years. They can do them in neighborhoods.
You'll love my game then. So.
Go ahead.
So I'll just a couple things I just appreciate you talking about.
Yeah.
Just one thing I think you just pointed out was storage is everything. So you don't need to just think about the electrical storage though, because there's other ways. Like at our plant right now, we're going to do a project where we're going to store compressed air at a higher pressure.
I've patented a ceiling tile.
Yeah.
It goes right there, and it does this right here. All right, that's what your temperature does. You want to hold here. You're paying a lot of money to
Phase
get
change.
Phase change.
Yeah.
And you can put those in the tile, and that does that right there, and it does it for half the price. And so, so there's all kind. What I hit today was just sort of, there's 10 years worth of stuff to know and learn, but in an hour you can only do so much.
But one thing I want to say too, metering is everything.
Yeah.
If you don't understand what you have, it's hard to do anything about it. So you need, and then
You can't lose weight if you don't have a scale.
Yeah, you gotta have some sort of measurement you're doing.
Yeah.
And then one last thing I just want to say, don't just, if you're ever out trying to reduce energy, which we have goals every year where we try to reduce every year, but try to actually reduce stuff, not put something else there to offset it.
Yeah.
You need to try to reduce your usage, not to offset your usage, because that's what a lot of people do.
Well, I tell you, I'll leave with two things that's funny that I was going to tell you. I meant to come back to this. In the 1950s, there was a group of 8 guys that created the microchip, right? And this Gordon Moore of Intel, a handful of names, they're all very famous. They were all started as Fairchild Radio. This guy goes, "That'd be great. Here's the go talk about semiconductor." So Fairchild Semiconductor, right? Well, Fairchild Semiconductor is known as out in Silicon Valley, which was the San Fernando Valley. And the big deal with the Fairchild was they wanted to make silicone wafers versus iridium wafers. And so that's where the name was coined. But after a year, they're about to go out of business, and they get a call from Warner von Braun who says, I need microchips for my rockets. And that was their customer. And now they get a customer, they survive, and Intel, Apple, there's 1,500 companies that were birthed, their DNA comes out of that one company. Had Warner von Braun from Huntsville, Alabama, not mailed a check out there to buy microchips, but you know, it's more complex than that, but he needed miniaturization, he knew what they were doing, and chips were it. Silicon Valley doesn't exist. They go out of business and it doesn't unfold that way at all. So. All right, guys and girls, thanks for your time.
Thank you.